Hello and welcome back to News Center here on KTN News. We're glad that you're watching. It is Friday, the 16th day of December 2016. It is time for What's Trending, and Zinzi Kibiku is joining me here on our Super Wall to talk more about what is trending. Good to see you.
All right, good morning, Sophia. Let's talk about the RIPZAK trend that has been happening. We'll go to Aleppo. Yes, we've been talking about Aleppo the entire week, and we're still going to highlight it today. Picture of the day and a bit of what is happening in Silicon Valley, how tech and politics is coming together. All right, so let's begin with RIPZAK. Have you heard of this story and behind it?
No.
No. What is happening is that Zak, who is of course a Kenyan, went to Ethiopia in January.
I have heard about it, yes.
Exactly. In January, about January 2015, he was sent to Ethiopia to work by his employee. He arrived there around 9th January, only to be arrested at around later on the same month, and he hadn't stayed in Ethiopia too long. Now, he is a techie, and he went there, and when he was arrested by the Ethiopian police, he said it in terms of, telecommunication fraud. Those are the cases that he was being detained for. Now, it only took about a few months later, after families and friends and even his own employer trying to call for his safety to come back home. He came back home, only this time around he came back home in a coffin.
In a coffin, yeah.
All right,
so
that's one story that's gotten very many Kenyans online a bit sparked. This is him right there, as you can see on your screens.
Oh, no.
Now, it wasn't only Zak who was detained at that time. Also, we have news that a guy by the name Jedrick Mugo was part of the team, or both of them were both jailed at the same time. Jedrick Mugo is yet to be released, and the thing is, this is when his body was just arriving in Kenya, and you can see there with his families and friends. And it's not just this issue, but there are also four other Kenyans to be specific, who are still stuck in South Sudan. If you go under the hashtag free South Sudan 4, you will get to see that story. Now, the thing is, Kenyans are a bit worried that our government is not doing enough when it comes to helping Kenyans stuck in foreign lands, all right? Let me refresh your memory just a bit. There was a time around last year, 2015, 77 Chinese were caught in Rwanda for fraud, tech fraud, right? And they were handed over immediately to the Chinese government and to the Taiwan government. Now, the thing is, that response that we saw from the other government, why are we not seeing it also on the Kenyan side when you have Kenyans who are stuck, trapped in other countries such as Ethiopia and South Sudan? So Kenyans have been calling for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to do something about that issue. Yeah, I
saw quite a number of tweets, and of course even from the ambassador in Ethiopia representing Kenya in Ethiopia, being criticized because the many calls that have been made, efforts to reach them. Ambassador Amina Mohammed as well, she's our foreign cabinet secretary, foreign affairs. So
one who is vying for the AU position.
Exactly, the top job in as far as diplomacy is concerned in the continent. So it would be good to see more effort concerted, especially because I remember, and of course it's a different case, but remember the movie Captain Phillips, which is from a real life story?
Yes.
How the US just brought together resources for one person,
one citizen.
And the thing is, in that case, he'd been kidnapped, but still.
There you go. And it's not just only America that we've seen this with. Even Israel, when Israelis are beyond outside of Israel border and need help, the government, no matter, even though it's one person, are very swift to take action.
Exactly.
All right. So that's why Kenyans are calling for more effort to be put into that case, and not just Zak's case, who has now gone away, but every Kenyan
Here
outside.
we are paying taxes in the millions.
There you go.
So at the end of the day, this is home.
This is home.
And these are leaders, officials who have been given responsibility to ensure we're good, whether we're in here or whether we've traveled. The when we've traveled, we know our peeps back home are looking out for our interests.
All right. Away from Ethiopia and Kenya, now let's take you to Aleppo, one of the biggest stories that we'll be covering for you here on What's Trending this week. And before we show you the video of what is happening in Aleppo, one child who has also yet brought the world to a standstill, just a quick update with Aleppo. Now, we know that Syria government forces alongside with Russia government forces have occupied 90% of Aleppo, which is a good thing because that means the rebels are only taking charge of about 10% of the city. Now, the thing is, right now the fighting is very, very heavy as it's coming to an end. So the other question that on people's mind is, what is next for Aleppo? Fine, after the rebels are thrown away, that city that was once an industrial city with 2.5 million residents,
beautiful.
It was very active, is now not there anymore. So let's take a look at this video, courtesy of AJ Plus, and we'll just talk about it for a moment.